Hello, my dear learners. In this video, I will teach you how we can create effective prompts using prompt engineering. Precise prompting is important for scientific research, and especially those researchers who are using AI for their research. Architecting effective and precise prompts are important in research, and especially getting factual data from different LLM models. We'll be focusing on a core architecture which can help us in creating efficient prompts which can be reproducible and give you in-depth results which we need from our AI models. This framework is named as RTF Framework, a very simple way of creating prompts which can help us in our research. Especially RTF framework is useful for systematic literature reviews, and it will help you to create efficient research questions and also analyzing the information we are feeding into our AI systems. Remember, this framework is usable for all stages of your research. It is not just for creating research questions. Whenever you are working with any AI model for your research, you should follow this RTF framework. The first thing, R refers to role. You need to define a persona. We have seen over the years AI work efficiently if you provide information what role this AI is performing for you. For example, you can create a persona, a researcher, a senior editor, a reviewer, and or a thesis examiner. Depending on your area of research, you can define the role, and this is important because this gives the AI what exactly we need. The role is important for any prompt. So in any prompt, you should start writing your prompt by assigning a persona to your AI models. And this is the first thing you need to consider. And the second thing, which is about the task, you need to clarify what task this role actually is performing. For example, maybe we assigned a role of a reviewer and we ask it to create a research question for systematic literature reviews, which can provide contrasting research themes or maybe conflicting methods or maybe categorize different data sets. It depends on the nature of your task, but nature of your research question. But you need to define that task very clearly, what this AI role, which we have already assigned in step one, what exactly the task is for that role. That is the second part, which tells us the framework. T is for task, and F is for format. You need to identify which type of format you want your answer to be presented. For example, you need a comparative table, you need a paragraph, you need a subheading or a structure. In most of the cases, AI will give you headings and subheadings. In my opinion, I use paragraph format most of the time, and I clearly mention mainly I need my output as a paragraph format and cite in-text citations and also create bibliography or a reference list in APA format. In this case, I clarify all the formatting requirement for my result generated from AI. RTF framework is the core for defining precise and accurate prompts for AI tool. And especially we'll be working in the same format for research question development with AI. But these tools required some more clarification. Let us think about the foundational techniques which we can use with these AI tools, because we know that AI tools have enormous capabilities of analyzing information, assessing the information, and accessing the information from different sources as well. But it can create some challenges for you also. And most of the cases, many researchers are facing a few inaccuracies and hallucination problems, which we can solve by following these fundamental techniques. The foundational technique is, first thing is, you don't need to work with one prompt only. You should work step by step. Instruct your model to think step by step rather than working once for every aspect of your research. That help us to reduce the inaccuracies and also use the hallucination problem, which most common with these AI tools. So work as a chain of thought. So not one prompt, but step by step and multiple prompts are efficient in order to get the accurate results from these AI tools. So we can also provide a few examples of what we need, and if existing examples are available for that specific task, give your AI some example and it can learn from your example and replicate the results we need. That is also another efficient way or efficient technique of working with this AI tools. And finally, third thing which I personally use a lot is structural aids like delimiters. So for example, I'm using most of the time inverted commas, but if you can use triple quote, HTML or XML tags, section headers using hashtags and all different structures or different delimiters actually providing a clear structure to your prompts and your content. It will give you opportunity to differentiate the content and the context. For example, if I'm writing a prompt, maybe improve this email. But if I'm just typing and pasting email before this prompt, that will not work accurately. If I use a delimiter, for example, inverted commas, and I paste my email in that inverted comma, it can be easily differentiated that this is the prompt and this is the content. In this case, it is easier for any AI tools for understanding your prompts and working with your research. These are simple techniques, three important steps. The first one is chain of thoughts. The second one is example. And the third one is use delimiters in your prompt. So that's very accurate and exact information. And when you are working in advanced and complex research topics, mostly we'll be using with these advanced and complex research topics. The most important thing is to follow advanced workflow, which can help us in verification of our research work or our output. The first thing is we need to follow this five-step model, which is called chain of verification COVE. First chain of verification is you need to draft your initial response based on your query, whatever the response is coming in based on our RTF framework. If you have provided a prompt, obviously you will receive a initial draft of your result. This draft is your baseline for working further. The next step is you need to create some questions to formulate the verification fact check for your draft. So for example, if you received a result, you need to verify that result by using another prompt. For example, if you received a result from a prompt that this is your research question, you need to ask it, can you verify with the fact whether this research question is accurate and workable? And then it will give you some more information. It means that the output from AI needs to be verified again with AI. That is also a chain of verification. Once you do that, you need to verify those answers independently also. And that is where I will teach you how you can use Goldilocks test in order to verify the results which we have generated from this AI, especially in terms of your research question development. Whatever the results will be receiving from this AI will verify those research question whether they are workable or not. It is not only AI we are relying on, will be verified and will counter check whether that result is very workable for us or not. And if required, we will revise those results based on our own suggestions and our own result. It means that we'll start with the basic idea, a basic draft. We'll verify that with AI, then we'll verify with the human intervention and we revise as per our requirement. That is also important when we are working with AI tools. Now, how to refine this output and how your system can be trained to improve your results. First thing is iterative refinement. Obviously, as I mentioned, you can create your output and work with another prompt in order to check your result. And that is where we will be working and training throughout our module and the master class. But train yourself to create multiple prompts to verify the results we receiving from any AI tool. And another very important technique which I use a lot is negative constraints. I instruct my AI tool what not to be included. For example, if I'm creating a research question, and I don't want to include some countries or some specific methods or some specific time periods, I will clearly mention that you don't need to bring research from internet. Just use the research articles, or maybe just use information since 2024. These are very important constraints which gives our AI tools another opportunity to use the amount of information from where they need to bring all the content and all this. And then reference grounding is very important, and I teach my students we don't use AI to generate content. Rather than this, we use AI model to process information, and that is where this reference grounding will work. And we will be using this a lot in our module 2, 3, and 4, but also in one we'll try to work with this. Mandate your model only use the provided text as a source of truth. It should not speculate. Rather than we'll just upload some information and ask it to process that information. Obviously, for research question development, we may need more creative writing or more information available over the internet and other references. That is why in step 1 and the module 1, we might not be using reference grounding, but the rest of the module will definitely use referencing grounding to the maximum. And we don't want AI to generate content, rather than we just want it to process information we will provide. Okay, so this is a very common practice, but also when we ask AI to generate content, the way we'll be working with research question, it can hallucinate. We know that it can create some information, it can automatically cite references, inaccurate information, and all this. How to counter that problem? Because in research, accuracy is the most important or the key to success. In this case, we'll be following a very simple technique to reduce the hallucination or maybe totally eliminate hallucination in your AI model. It is an advanced level technique. We call it temperature control. If temperature control is a technique to tell your AI how much creative writing or content generation we need actually. It means that the more temperature, if we are using, let's say 1 or 2 is the maximum number, it allow you to use 0 from 0 to 2. If you are using 2, it means that it will automatically create the result for you, and it can create hallucination problem for you. And if we are using the lower temperature, it means that the lower creative your model will be, but at the same time, the more accurate result will be provided. This is a very important task. We most optimum control temperature for researcher is 0.2. You can use 0 where it will totally use the information available and will not create any other output. So, but in simple way, we can use this as 0.2, which can create an optimization between the creativity and also accuracy in our results. So to do that in simple way, whatever tools you are using, we can use prompt engineering and custom instruction. There are two options available. There are other options also, but they are complex using Google AI Studio, but I'm not going into that details. We can very simply, we can use the custom instruction tab, which is available in almost all AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, and all this. In the custom instruction, we can provide this information. If that is not the case, the second option is when you are writing any prompt, you should instruct your LLM model to use this temperature value. To add this prompt, you can use this in Gemini. Respond with the temperature of 0.2. Be strictly factual, concise, and do not create adjectives. Avoid controversial fillers. This is a prompt. You can copy this prompt and paste in your instruction, or you can use this in all prompts you are creating for your systematic literature review masterclass. You can use all for all whatever tools you are using. In this masterclass, I'll be focusing more on Gemini, because Gemini AI Studio will give us more leverage on working with Gemini and also Notebook LM, which will be our main tool for working with the data sets will be working within our systematic literature reviews. Okay. Hallucination problem, you can either provide custom instruction that will be set for your whole working, but in that case, if you are not working in research area and you need a simple information, in that case, this is not a right thing to do. If you are using your AI just for research purposes, in that case, you can use custom instruction tab. But if you are using your AI tools for multi-purpose, then you should use prompt engineering and copy this prompt. And whenever you are writing any prompt at the end, you instruct your AI tools to follow this in order to create the results we need. This is to solve hallucination problem. And remember temperature, the most optimized temperature is zero point 0.2 for our Gemini or any other AI tools. Now, a very brief discussion about the traditional prompting and prompt engineering for our scientific research. The source of truth in traditional prompting is the general knowledge which LLM model have used for training or available data over the internet or other sources. But in scientific research, we'll be working on mandatory reference grounding. It means that we'll be restricting our AI tools to process information from the source we are recommending. And the logic flow in traditional prompting is direct answer for one prompt, but in scientific research, we'll be working on chain of thought. Remember this point. Constraints, obviously, in traditional prompting, we don't use it's very vague descriptions, but in scientific research, you must need to provide negative constraints and also formatting constraints in which you want your answer. And the system instruction for traditional prompting, we don't need, but for scientific precision prompting, you need custom instructions. And also you can use prompting technique for concise and accurate results, which I've already explained in the previous slide. I believe this is crucial for all researchers, especially when you are using AI tools for research. There are two important concerns. First is ethics, and the second one is reproducibility. Remember, transparency in prompting process is as critical as transparency in your research. It means that you always need to provide all the detailed prompts which you use for your result, and you can report them in your methodology also, so other people can reproduce and see the results. In next video, I will train you using these techniques which I just showed you, how we can create a very simple research question using ChatGPT, Gemini, or any other tool which is reproducible, accurate, and can be work with scientific research articles. I will show you in the next video. And I hope this video is informative and you will follow these instructions. Thank you very much and have a very nice day.